Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. US President Donald Trump changes stance, says he could reach trade deal with China instead of putting tariffs, calls talk which Xi had last week as friendly. US federal court temporarily blocks presidential order restricting birthright citizenship. Trump says will appeal the ruling. Bank of Japan hikes policy rates by 25 basis points amid signs of sustained inflation and rising wages. Rates hiked to highest level since 2008. Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto arrives in New Delhi on his first state visit to India to grace the Republic Day celebrations as the chief guest. In Australian Open, Alexander Zverev reaches the final as injury forces Novak Djokovic to concede. Australians clinch mixed doubles title. Donald Trump delivered the first international speech of his second term, appearing via live stream before the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. Laying out a vision for American economic prosperity, Trump promised global elites lower taxes if they bring manufacturing to the US and threatened to impose tariffs if they don't. He also assured incentivizing companies to facilitate business there. He thus laid out a carrot and stick approach for private investment in the US to strengthen the economy.
My message to every business in the world is very simple. Come make your product in America and we will give you among the lowest taxes of any nation on earth. We're bringing them down very substantially, even from the original Trump tax cuts. But if you don't make your product in America, which is your prerogative, then very simply you will have to pay a tariff, differing amounts, but a tariff which will direct hundreds of billions of dollars and even trillions of dollars into our treasury to strengthen our economy and pay down debt.
Amid Trump's tariff row, the World Trade Organization chief has said that the trade wars would have catastrophic consequences for global growth. At the World Economic Forum session on trade, WTO chief urged states to refrain from retaliation.
If we have tit-for-tat retaliation, whether it's 25%, tariff 60%, and we go to where we were in the 1930s, we're going to see double-digit global GDP losses. Double-digit. That's catastrophic. Everyone will pay. Everyone. And the poor countries will pay even more.
WTO Director General starts her second term as the head of the global trade watchdog this year, at a time when Trump's tariff threats have raised the specter of trade wars. Marking a U-turn from his earlier statements regarding tariffs, Trump has now said that he could reach trade deal with China. The president said in an interview with the news channel that the two countries will have a very good relationship. Trump said that he would rather not use tariffs against China. He also said that his conversation with Chinese President Xi Jinping last week was friendly and he thought he could reach a trade deal with China. The leaders discussed issues including TikTok, trade and Taiwan in a phone call before Trump took office.
President Xi, we have problems with them. They have territorial ambitions with Taiwan, intellectual property theft, their unfair trade practices. How'd that conversation go?
It went fine. It was a good, friendly conversation. I had a great relationship with them prior to COVID. I had a very good relationship with them. I thought it was a very good conversation.
Getting you another controversial topic, making news from the US. A federal judge blocked Donald Trump's administration on Thursday from implementing the executive order curtailing the right to automatic birthright citizenship in the United States. A US district judge issued temporary restraining order at the urge of 4 Democratic-led states, that is Washington, Arizona, Illinois and Oregon, preventing the administration from enforcing the order. The judge says the order, which was slated to take effect in February, was blatantly unconstitutional. The ruling imposes a 14-day halt on enforcing the orders, while the judge considers whether to issue a long-lasting preliminary injunction. The judge will hear arguments over whether to do so on February 6th. The case is one of the 5 lawsuits being brought by 22 states and a number of immigrants' rights groups across the country. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump said his administration will appeal the decision to temporarily block the executive order restricting birthright citizenship. Trump had signed the order on Monday, his first day back in office.
Mr. President, a U.S. judge temporarily blocks the birthright citizenship order. Do you have any reaction?
No, obviously we'll appeal it. They put it before a certain judge in Seattle, I guess, right? And there's no surprises with that judge.
Meanwhile, President Trump reiterated his stand on NATO spending on Thursday, saying the U.S. was protecting NATO members, but they were not protecting them. Trump repeated the demands that other members of the transatlantic alliance spend 5% of their GDP on defense, a huge increase from the current 2% goal and a level that no NATO country, including the United States, currently reaches. Officials from NATO countries and analysts say that NATO will not heed Trump's proposal for such a massive hike in defense spending, but will likely agree to go beyond its current target. Trump's new Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, spoke to NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte on Wednesday and reinforced the U.S. commitment to the alliance, while the two also discussed the importance of having capable defense allies and real burden sharing. U.S. President Donald Trump called for an immediate end to the conflict in Ukraine. In an interview, he threatened tariffs, taxes and sanctions on Russia if Vladimir Putin refuses to negotiate a resolution to the conflict. Trump added that Putin should never have initiated the conflict.
Should end immediately. Should have never started. That would never have started if I were. I used to talk to Putin about it. Ukraine was the apple of his eye, but there was no chance that he would ever do it. And he didn't do it. Putin shouldn't have done it. He shouldn't have done it, and it has to stop. Do you know they've lost about 850,000 Russian soldiers and 700,000 Ukrainian soldiers?
U.S. President Donald Trump signed an order to declassify government files related to the assassination of former President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert Kennedy and also civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. on Thursday. Trump had promised on the campaign trail to release classified intelligence and law enforcement files concerning the assassination of President Kennedy, or JFK as he was fondly known. He had made a similar commitment during his first term and also, in fact, released some documents related to JFK's 1963 murder. The assassination of JFK in particular continues to captivate the American public. While Lee Harvey Oswald was officially named as the lone gunman, the Justice Department and other federal agencies have upheld the conclusion over the years. However, public opinion polls consistently show that many Americans believe his death was part of a larger conspiracy. The Laken Riley Act, aimed at addressing crimes committed by illegal immigrants in the U.S., is now headed to President Donald Trump's desk for signing. Speaker Mike Johnson on Thursday signed the bill, which had passed through the U.S. Congress with bipartisan support. The House of Representatives approved the legislation on January 22nd by a vote of 263 to 156, with 46 Democrats joining 217 Republicans in favor. The Senate had previously approved the bill, ensuring its passage despite the opposition. The bill, which requires the detention of undocumented immigrants accused of theft, including shoplifting, will be the first of several steps by Republicans to tighten border security in 2025. Dozens of migrants were returned from the United States to Mexico on Thursday to the border town of Ciudad Juarez, where they were greeted by people disguised as angels demanding protection for the migrants. Meanwhile, Mexican soldiers rushed to set up emergency shelters near the border with the United States on Thursday. The Mexican government said it planned to open 9 shelters for its citizens and 3 more for deported foreigners. The United States will leave the World Health Organization early January after being formally notified of the decision by President Donald Trump. Trump has repeatedly accused the agency of mishandling the pandemic and other international health crises, and on Monday made the announcement within hours of taking oath. The WHO said on Tuesday that it regretted the move from its top donor country. Trump must give a 1-year notice of U.S. withdrawal from the Geneva-based body and pay Washington's dues under a 1948 joint resolution of the U.S. Congress. The United States is by far the WHO's biggest financial backer. contributing around 18% of its overall funding. WHO's most recent two-year budget for 2024-25 was $6.8 billion. It was not immediately clear how much the US owes. Donald Trump has dismissed criticism from close ally Elon Musk about a $500 billion artificial intelligence project that he announced with great fanfare at the White House earlier this week. Trump had announced that ChatGPT's creator, OpenAI, SoftBank and Oracle are planning a joint venture called Stargate, which he said will build data centers and create more than 1 lakh jobs in the United States. Reporters in a media briefing at the White House asked Trump whether Musk's criticism of the AI deal bothered him. Trump said it doesn't. Hinting at Musk, he said the Tesla CEO hates one of the people in the deal. People in the deal are very, very smart people. Taking it naturally and lightly, Trump said, I have certain hatreds of people too. Musk, the Tesla owner and the Tesla CEO, in fact, and the world's richest man also, who has become a close advisor to Trump, is a rival of Altman and is in an ongoing lawsuit with OpenAI. In a post on X, Musk had doubted the group can put together the funding for the project. Musk said they don't actually have the money. Michael Martin was elected Irish Prime Minister for the second time by a coalition of the country's two large centre-right parties and independent lawmakers on Thursday. The coalition is the second in a row between rivals Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil, with independents replacing junior coalition partner, the Green Party, which lost most of its seats. The initially scheduled vote to elect Martin on January 22nd descended into chaos when the parliament was suspended 4 times after opposition protests. An agreement by both sides that government supporting independents cannot for now retain extended speaking rights from the opposition benches paved the way for Martin to be elected. Powerful winds and bone-dry conditions could pose a challenge to firefighters battling new wildfires in Southern California on Thursday, including a blaze that swelled over the past day and forced tens of thousands of evacuations north of Los Angeles. The 4,000 firefighters battling the blaze have achieved 14% containment, a measure of the percentage of a fire's perimeter brought under control. The nominations for the 97th Academy Awards were announced on Thursday at the Academy's Samuel Goldwyn Theatre in Beverly Hills, California. Actor, writer, comedians Rochelle Sennott and Bowen Yang revealed the nominees in all the 23 categories during a live presentation. While most nominations came as no surprise, a few caught moviegoers off guard. Diptanshu Kashyap gets us more on the upcoming ceremony.
Moviegoers and cinephiles are eagerly anticipating the event of the year as the Oscar nominations for all 23 categories of the 97th Academy Awards were announced. The nomination ceremony began with Academy President and CEO offering condolences for the victims of the ongoing wildfires in Southern California. Leading the pack this year is the Spanish-language musical Emilia Perez, which garnered 13 nominations. Close behind are the post-Holocaust drama The Brutalist and The Wizard of Oz prequel Wicked, each securing 10 nominations. Also in the race with 8 nominations are the Bob Dylan biopic A Complete Unknown and the drama Conclave. Additionally, the Hindi-language short film Anuja earned a nomination in the Best Live-Action Short Film category. While many nominations came as no surprise, given the film's success at the previous award shows like the Golden Globes, a few nods did catch fans off guard. Some anticipated contenders were snubbed, leaving audiences both pleased and disappointed. The award ceremony will take place on March 3rd, with comedian Conan O'Brien set to host. Diptanshu Kashyap's report for DD India.
You're watching DD India News Hour. We are heading for a short break, but after the break, all preparations in place for the 76th Republic Day. Stay with us for a sneak peek. Record-breaking devotee participation at Prayagraj. Over 100 million devotees take holy dip since January 13th. In sports, we'll get you an update on the ongoing Hockey India League.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. After the break, you're watching DD India Live. Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto arrived in New Delhi on his first state visit to India. President Prabowo will be the chief guest for India's 76th Republic Day celebrations this year. During his visit, President Subianto will hold bilateral talks with India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday. He will also meet President of India Draupadi Murmu. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will also call on the visiting president on Friday. This is President Prabowo's first visit to India in his capacity as the president after assuming office in October 2024. The state visit of President Prabowo will prove an opportunity for the leaders to undertake a comprehensive review of bilateral ties as well as to discuss regional and global issues of mutual interest. The Indian Army is fully geared to showcase its strength during the 76th Republic Day on the Kartavya Path on 26 January of this month. Battlefield surveillance system and DRDO depiction of the Pralay weapon system will be the major attraction of the parade this year. During the parade, the Bhishma T-90 tank, Nag missile system, Bajrang light specialist vehicle, Nandighosh quick reaction force vehicle, BrahMos, Agniban, Pinaka and Akash weapon system will showcase the country's military might. Besides, the marching contingents of the Armed Forces, Central Armed Police Force and NCC marching contingent will also participate in the parade. This year, Indonesian contingent and band will also participate in this year's Republic Day parade. 352 Indonesian army soldiers will participate in the parade this year. A total of 26 tableaus from various states, union territories and union ministries are set up to present the diversity of the country and cultural inclusiveness during the 76th Republic Day parade on 26th of this month. The tableaux are based on the theme of Swarnim Bharat, Virasat aur Vikas. Lieutenant General Bhavnish Kumar would be leading the Republic Day parade on 26th of January. This is the second year in a row that he would be leading the parade. India is celebrating 76th Republic Day and the parade is the highlight of the show.
On 76th Republic Day, General Bhavnish Kumar would be again leading the parade, and this is the second time. Let's talk to him and find out. So what is new in this parade?
We are showcasing the cultural diversity and the military prowess together. The diverse culture will be seen, and also the powerful might of all three services will be seen, as also you will see the tableau in the form of tableau by the Department of Military Affairs, the jointness and integration which is taking place between the three services. In this Republic Day parade also you would see the new indigenized equipment which is being used by our armed forces, like you would see the Sanjay battlefield surveillance radar, then you would see tank T-90 Bhishma and infantry combat vehicle BMP-2 Sarath, and in the artillery equipment you would see BrahMos missile system and the Pinaka multiple rocket system and the Agniban multi-barrel rocket launcher system. In the infantry equipment profile, you would see the indigenously developed different types of infantry vehicles which can be used in all sorts of terrain and all sorts of operations. There is a lot of emphasis in showing the indigenous equipment, which has been our focus for quite many years now.
The Indonesian band would also be there. So how has been your rapport with them, because they've been practicing with the Indian Armed Forces?
The chief guest is the President of Indonesia, and along with that we are also having the Indonesian military contingent which is marching, and the Indonesian band which is being played by the cadets of the Indonesian Military Academy over there. And the kind of chemistry which we see between the Indonesian soldiers and our own soldiers is beautiful.
So there you heard the GOC Delhi. He'll be leading the parade, and there's a lot of focus on indigenization. And yes, the Indonesian contingent is also there. With cameraman Kumar Datta in Delhi, this is Vishal Baristo for DD India.
And now we get to all the latest updates from Maha Kumbh, the largest gathering of humans on the planet. The ongoing Maha Kumbh has witnessed an unprecedented turnout of the devotees, with over 100 million people taking a holy dip at the sacred confluence of Ganga, Yamuna and the mythical Saraswati since January 13th. The historic milestone was achieved by noon on Thursday, reflecting the immense faith and devotion of sadhus, kalpvasis and pilgrims from around the world. The state government estimates that this Maha Kumbh will host over 450 million visitors, and the early achievement of over 100 million bathers reaffirms this projection. Meanwhile, with Mauni Amavasya, the biggest bathing day of the Maha Kumbh Mela, approaching on January 29th, the authorities have taken initiatives to prevent any security issue or stampede-like situation. As the date of the Union Budget presentation inches closer, the Halwa ceremony, marking the final stage of the preparation process, will be held in North Block on Friday in the presence of India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. A customary Halwa ceremony is performed every year before the lock-in process of officials involved in the budget preparation begins. The Halwa ceremony is an annual ritual observed 5 days before the Union Budget presentation at the Parliament. The Union Budget 2025-26 is to be presented on 1st February. Japan's central bank has raised the cost of borrowing to its highest level in 17 years as it tries to cap the rising prices. The move by Bank of Japan to raise its short-term policy rate to 0.5% comes just hours after the latest economic data showed prices rose last month at the fastest pace in 16 months. The Bank of Japan's last interest rate hike in July, along with a weak jobs report from the US, caught investors around the world by surprise. This triggered a stock market sell-off. The bank's governor, Kazuo Ueda, signaled this latest rate hike in advance in a bid to avoid another market shock. Agricultural powerhouse Argentina will temporarily lower taxes on its grains exports, citing the improving health of the nation's economy. The country's powerful agricultural groups have been pressurizing for tax relief for the sector. According to Economy Minister Luis Caputo, export taxes on soybeans and sub-products, among others, will be lowered as of Monday and through June. Argentina is the world's top exporter of processed soy oil and meal, the number 3rd for corn, and a major producer of wheat and barley. Its crops have been hit by lack of rains since late December. Libertarian President Javier Milei's government will also permanently get rid of tax exports on so-called regional economies. Let's talk of sports now. In what has come as a big shock, 7th seed Novak Djokovic retired mid-match due to injury, resulting in Alexander Zverev's walkover to the final of Australia Open. The 24-time Grand Slam champion was already fighting the injury during the match, and he decided to withdraw after dropping the first set 7-6. This saw Zverev making it to the final and keeping his hopes alive of winning a maiden slam title after a decade of trying. It was as intense a first set as was expected, with no breaks coming for either player. Finally, Alexander Zverev won the tiebreaker, and Djokovic immediately turned to the chair umpire and retired from the match. Meanwhile, Australians Olivia Gadecki and John Peers battled back from a set down to clinch the Australia Open mixed doubles title on Saturday. The Australian duo defeated compatriots Kimberly Birrell and John Patrick Smith 3-6, 6-4, 10-6 in the mixed doubles final at Melbourne Park. Gadecki and Peers stepped up a gear to level the contest in a tight second set before going on to win the 10-point tiebreaker. They now become the 4th Australian duo in the Open era to win the mixed doubles title at the tournament. Delhi SG Pipers signed out of the inaugural edition of the Women's Hockey India League with a shootout win over Odisha Warriors in Ranchi on Thursday. Odisha also became the first team to enter the final of the Women's Hockey League, having secured a point from the shootout. The Pipers, meanwhile, will end their tournament in the league stage with 5 points from 6 matches. Meanwhile, in men's hockey, David Harte had a storming game in goal, leading the Tamil Nadu Dragons to a thrilling 4-3 penalty shootout win over the Hyderabad Tufans in Pool B encounter. The win has propelled Tufans to the top of the standings. That's it in this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can download the respective QR codes. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.